People didn't believe what I said 10 years ago. And today, people are afraid to wear kippas on the street. And they didn't believe that such a thing can ever be. Because I'll tell you, there is such an infrastructure in America for anti-Semitism that includes universities and various subcultures and organizations and an entire political party that can be infested with anti-Semitism. This is becoming, even though it looks the opposite, this is becoming an infrastructure, a social infrastructure. And that's why I'm very much afraid of that. And as a person who lives here in Israel, I also care, of course, about Israel and the support for Israel. And the support for Israel can only come from the US. And what I'm seeing is that this will soon end, and that's because America will become very anti-Semitic. Very anti-Semitic. It's going to be a social climate of legitimacy, of speaking negatively about Jews in general.
Whenever I hear this is it's so jarring, and I think Rick, you've been working at this cause for so many years, and I honestly think that many people who live here, many Jews, people think that they're doing the right thing. I don't think anybody wakes up in the morning thinking, I'm going to be a bad person, right? Or, a bad Jew, or whatever it is. People are trying to do the right thing. I think people are trying to have, take care of their families. They give tzedakah. They go to community events. Like
Leo, I'm sorry. Look, there's a very, very simple explanation. There's a very simple explanation. The people of Israel is a collection of all those nations of Babylon 3,500 years ago. Abraham collected from all those nations of humanity, from the cradle of civilization, ancient Mesopotamia. He collected representatives from all of them and into a group that was developed later on into the nation of Israel. If that group of representatives is connected or not connected, their connection influences the whole world because it's all one network. And when they scatter and are in social discord, then all of the nations are in that discord as well. And that's why we determine that level of peace or war in the world in general. And that is essentially what anti-Semitism is trying to tell us. And in that respect, they're correct. And that's what needs to be told to Jews.
Rick, so that's the question, really. Do you think, can people feel that? People think that they need to do more, that what they're doing right now is not this connection. Maybe, as Dr. Laitman says, something more of the heart.
First of all, I don't share the as gloomy or sobering an assessment and certainly a view of where America is headed. I think each and every day there are people of goodwill of all faiths, but certainly just looking at the Jewish community for a moment, people who are actively engaged in Jewish communal life. They are married to other Jews. They are engaged in their federation communities, their federation organizations, which is the umbrella for so many worthwhile grassroots community serving and community-based organizations. They are active in groups like AJC and ADL and APAC and JNF, and the list goes on and on. And these are people who recognize and appreciate that American democracy, which we cannot take for granted, and we have to. One of the lessons we've learned, I think, collectively from this current administration is that we have to participate in our civic and democratic life, just as Israelis do, in a very engaged grassroots way. We can't take any of this for granted. But there is a sense, I think, an underlying sense of optimism and determination that while we are certainly living in a more challenged and challenging environment in America, and a society that is coarser and more violent, and that in part is a separate issue of the unfettered access to really weapons of human destruction. Absolutely no legitimate gun safety regulations anywhere in America, though some of the cities have tried to legislate and make their streets safer as best they can. But notwithstanding the challenges in America, I think the American Jewish experience has been extraordinarily rich and hopeful and positive, and provides an opportunity for the American Jewish community to engage with people from communities the world over. I share this because literally this evening, AJC will be convening the more than 100 foreign consulates, the diplomats who are based here in Los Angeles, but who represent countries around the world, for a Hanukkah celebration, for an explanation and a celebration of what the Hanukkah means, and what this festival means for Jewish continuity and resilience and hope for a better world. So I think the overarching message for us is that the challenges are real, but we have the wherewithal, we have the determination, and we really have to pursue the imperative of trying to improve our world as best we can.